Hey everybody, welcome back to playing as Isaac. At least it's not as bad as playing as a Lost. That's what I get for hitting the space bar. Whatever, it's a change of pace. CSGC 0 NYD. Oh yes, the New York Dankies, my favorite Super Smash Brothers Esports team. We got an esports team. Did I tell you that? I might have told you that. I'm in this weird boat, okay? It's not that weird. We will take Little Brim. Don't get. It's not like I'm in a, some kind of the Life Aquatic sort of submersible. It's not a weird boat like that. I'm in a weird boat in the sense that I like sports and I like video games, and during the NHL off season, I need a sport, and there's a really easy one: soccer. Whitecaps play in MLS. Stadium is right next to the hockey stadium. Seasons don't overlap basically at all. It's perfect. However, for some reason, I find myself intrigued, despite not really enjoying watching Overwatch, by the idea of this Vancouver Overwatch team that's going to be in the Overwatch League. Let me tell you what my hesitancy is. Why? And then this is not, and Rob and I talked about this a couple Wednesdays ago on the show. I understand sports, I understand that not everybody that plays for Manchester United is from Manchester. Not anybody who plays for Vancouver, the Canucks, is from Vancouver. So I'm not one of those people who, when the Overwatch League came out, had never apparently heard of the concept of a sports league and are like, well, what? None of the players on Dallas are from Dallas. Like, yeah, sports. That's the way. That's why international competition is another thing, is so that you can have that secondary aspect where you also get to, root for your region. Good start. So it's not that like none of the players are from Vancouver. That I couldn't care less. But the problem is, until they play games in Vancouver, like and I'm being sincere. Are the players on any of the Overwatch teams except, like, LA? Yeah, that's fine. Have they ever been to the cities that they play for? I'm not saying you have to have a civic connection, but, like, at some point, it kind of, I don't say it rubs me the wrong way. And I know they're planning on having, I know they're planning on having home games from, like, the 2020 season onwards, but, like, right now, if all the games are played is like, Anaheim. And the stadium, by the way, looks amazing. I watched that. I didn't get the bounty for it. Ooh, that's so good. But I watched that Overwatch behind-the-scenes look, and I was like, that stadium is incredible and built specifically to host, like, Overwatch, basically. But also, like, if there's never a home game, I don't think they really belong to the city yet. So I'm thinking, hold off until maybe... we see them actually in the city itself. I recognize that it's sports in general, just because you got people that play for the Vancouver Canucks. They might hate the city, Ryan Kessler. They might, they might just play here because of the contract, or they might be seduced into coming here because of the contract and then, leave later because they're not getting paid enough or something like that. Of course, in the end, you're just kind of rooting for a logo, but... it feels a little bit less like you're rooting for a logo when they at least, like, spend some time in the city instead of just like, hey, we're the Vancouver Rampage. We play all of our games in the Los Angeles Convention Center. We are going to take that. We're just not going to take it yet. But we'll see. Maybe it'll work out. I mean, I'm not suggesting it wouldn't work out to begin with. It's kind of cool to be one of, we're getting in on the ground floor. Now, we don't know if the building's going to be... 2 stories high, but still. Yeah, why not? So we've had Book of the Dead a lot lately. I love the item, but, at some point you're like, maybe we can mix it up a little. We will definitely take 9 lives, still worth it. Lose 2 HP in the process. We might as well have taken whatever the item was, because we were going to lose our HP regardless. Although then, you get into the slightly more complicated issue of, like, do you want to deal with the Devil Precedent, or do you want to deal with the Angel Chant, etc., etc.? Now, the other part of it... well, here's the thing. I don't necessarily find competitive Overwatch that fun to watch. But I think at the end of the day, it's just about, it's all storylines, you know? I don't want to make this yet another sports episode. I'm just saying, you know, sports is all storylines. When you watch the NFL, like, or when I watch the NFL, I find it very non-compelling. You know why? I have no context, or I have not enough context to make it interesting. You know, Oakland and Denver were playing at my in-laws' place yesterday. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I know they're rivals. And then I get home and I was watching TV and they're like, an emotional farewell today as Raiders defeats Broncos in possibly their last game ever in Oakland. And I was like, all right, I forgot they might be moving this year or next year. And then it was like, Oakland native Doug Martin scores an uncontested 24-yard touchdown. And I was like, dude, that was a huge game. When I was watching, I was like, it's 14-0. Boring. You know, you need to have that context. So even though I have no idea of, like... It's the same as Dota. Like, I was really into watching... I mean, I never watched, like, extensive competitive Dota, but I watched the International every year for 2 or 3 years. And, like, the years I watched, you're like, oh, you know, this guy used to play on this team, and this guy's really good with this hero. He used to be super good in the meta, but then, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then when I... You know, the International was in Vancouver this year, and I was just like, just a bunch of particle effects. It's the stories that, it's the same with D&D, I'm sure. Even though I've only played it once. You know, it's the context and the emergent stuff that's more valuable, you know? Than just like he shoots, he scores. So, you know, I think I could be tricked into rooting for any team with a V on their logo. For now, at least. But anyway, I digress. It's a rare day for me, by the way. It's still Christmas. It's 1:25 p.m. And I mean, it's Christmas, so I'm not, like, bragging about working. But it's 1:25 p.m. I've done enough videos today that I'm like, I'm taking the rest of the day off, my dudes. Don't re-roll this. Re-roll this. No, not worth it. Why re-roll that? Because we weren't going to re-roll this, dude. Rate of fire is so good. I forgot we had 9 lives, so I was like, don't get it twisted. Obviously, we won't go in there just yet. That's what happens. Again, I want you to know, okay? I've been fighting for this sleep schedule. I've been putting in work. Couple days, not last week, maybe last week. Where I woke up a little bit later than I would have liked. I was tired and slept in, and that's fine. You know, this is the holidays. But that's how it starts, you know. This, as a YouTuber, the sleeping in is very seductive. Because you're like, I don't need to be up. Nobody's waiting on me. So then you sleep in an hour too late. You try to go to bed at the normal time the next night. Can't fall asleep for an hour. You wake up an hour and a half late the next day, and then you're caught in the cycle, you know? You got stuck in a moment that you can't get out of. Today's Christmas Day. You know what time I got up? 8:30. Feels good, dude. Not like a... You know, I very much disagree with the mindset like, you know, we're out here grinding. I think there's some value to it, and I think that... You know, I wouldn't say I live that lifestyle. Like, I don't wake up... I saw an interview with a very famous streamer. And they were like, yeah, bro, I only get like 5 or 6 hours of sleep a night. I'm on that grind. And I was like, man, we have very different perceptions of this business, okay? You gotta work hard, don't get me wrong. And if you're at the top of the game, you know, the harder you work, the more you stand to reap. There's no question about that. But simultaneously... Starting to think if you know, you're not streaming 19 hours a day. If you only get 5 hours of sleep a night, you know, I think you got to work on your time management skills a little bit. Now, mind you, I'm not shooting Samsung commercials or anything like that. And maybe, you know, to be fair, streamers like that, they're in a little bit of a different echelon, you know? Hold on, what could this be? Rune bag. They got obligations that I don't. And then beyond that, and I'm being sincere here, maybe he's just decided that he would rather put in the extra 3 hours a day and get 5 hours of sleep a night instead of 8, or, you know, 5 hours instead of 7. I think it's a little silly, but, you know, who am I to judge, I suppose, in the end? My brand... I almost screwed that one up real bad. My brand is my anxiety motivating me to work and then feeling ashamed of how much I work above and beyond how much I actually need to. Like, for me, broke, yo, bro, you gotta be on that grind. Woke is, the grind is the only thing that keeps the crushing anxiety that this job is just a temporary dalliance. Keeps that thought away from me. That's my woke thought, at least. You got any spirit hearts for me? Okay. We're going back for our runes. I'm not actually hit by that soul-crushing anxiety on a daily basis, by the way. I was for like a year. No joke. And I'm still, there's like twinges of it. Like, I think it's hard if you're a viewer to put yourself in this position. But there are just times where I'm like, you know, I'll wake up and be like, on January 1st, nobody's gonna watch Isaac anymore. Like, it's done. It's like an international conspiracy. They're like, we're all gonna stop on the same day. Isaac's tears. No, thank you. Unlikely. Instead, it'll be a slow trickle over such a period of time that the rate is imperceptible until it's too late. But anyway, I'm just saying, I'm not about that 24/7 grind. I do work hard. And I mean, I get mad when I'm besmirched for working too hard. That's one thing that rattles me. Is like, you know, are you mad that I'm working too much because of interest for me, or because it's making it harder for other people, I guess? Or harder for you specifically. That's where it gets me, but only in that specific moment right there. I think we're going to take Perthrow over Blackrune, because we're really going to try to fish hard for Guppy. But anyway, that's what I was going to say, is that's the value of waking up at 8:30, and I'm sure you're like, yeah, we know. I wake up at like 6:45 for work, pop in a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, and then get your video going. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Especially in those moments of my own unique anxiety. But it feels good. Like, I can't deny it. It's gonna, by the time this video is over, win, lose, or draw, it's going to be like 2 p.m. That was a much better move. Oh, it's a much, much better move. Obviously, we're going to stick with the D6, though. And I got like a whole day ahead of me. We got dinner reservations at 7:30. You know what I'm going to do? And I'm looking forward to it. You can't trick me, by the way, because then I'll get into that in just a second here. But you know what I'm going to do, and I'm excited about, is we're going to clean this apartment. We got so much time. It's not, it's always clean. It's always tidy, but it could use a cleaning. And I'm excited to do so. And you might think that sounds like a bad way to spend your Christmas. Bro, I've been there. You know, Christmas is a great day for most kids, or at least for me most of the time when I was a kid. I can't speak to any other contrasting scenario there. But, you know, once you hit 1:30 p.m. as a kid, what's your Christmas like? I lost the bone heart. You know, playing a video game that you might be a little bit bored of. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. That's how I spent, you know, I had a couple hours yesterday. Let's go. Before we drove down to my in-laws' place, you know what I did? Played Smash Online. Ruined some kids' experience with their new Nintendo Switch. I want to play as Pichu. Me with Donkey Kong comes in. Grab him, throw him up, hit him with the up A, hit him with the up A. They land in tech, you hit them with the smash overhead A. Then they're off the edge, they think they can get you. They do like a little fake out jump. No, you get spiked all the same. And then my GSP, which is MMR, what an interesting statement, reached a point at which I started to play good players, and I went, "Okay, we should go." But yeah, it's, you know, I've learned, I really think my philosophy towards video games has changed a lot this year, and I have Austin to thank. I know that sounds like a dangerous statement, but for real. He opened my eyes to the idea that video games, you know, they're usually fun, but when they're not fun, you don't have to do it as like a penance for having fun. You know, and if you weren't following, it's like when we played Call of Duty. We, like, lost against a team that was clearly superior to us, and Austin went re-queue. And I went, what do you mean re-queue? And he's like, I don't play this game to lose. I play this game to style on people who are worse than me until they leave. And I was like, you can do that? And you can admit it? And I gotta tell you, it feels dang good. Now, like, if I lose in Smash, they always give you the option for a rematch. If I get bodied in Smash, I always say no rematch. And being sincere, I don't care how you feel about that. You know, it's my leisure time. I'm not out here to get DE_destroyed by somebody. Well, if you don't do that, though, you'll never get better. Oh, no. My career as a slightly, possibly above average Smash player is called into question. Who cares, bro? I got exams, you know? I got real frustrations. I don't need to simulate that in the video game environment. If I play somebody and I destroy them, I rematch them every single time. And if they accept it, that's so noble. And I'm not being insincere. I wouldn't do it. The fact that they're doing it, it shows they got that drive to get better at Smash Bros. So congratulations. One day, you may be better than me. You know what you're going to get out of that? We'll match up once. You'll beat me, and I'll hit no rematch. It's up to you to decide whether or not that's worth it. I get, by the way, it's you know, it's a frustrating viewpoint. I'm going to take my chances on this one reroll. Yeah, sure. It's better. I'm still waiting on that last guppy item, though. Dude, mulligan plus fishtail. I didn't even realize we had fishtail. We're getting this guppy item. I promise you that. It's a frustrating attitude because, you know, it's kind of insolent. You know, it's like, oh, if I didn't win, I'm just going to take my ball and go home. That's the first time I've seen that, by the way. We split a champion wall crawler, and he got spit out onto the perpendicular wall. That's a really cool effect that is almost never seen. But at the same time, let me hit you with a counterpoint. It's a video game. And I'm not going, you know, esports level. If you're trying to compete, you know, even if you just want to win, like, local tournaments or something like that, yeah, I think it matters. You know, how are you gonna beat Johnny, who's got the dynamite, you know, Ganondorf game, if every time you play against a Ganondorf that beats you, you go, oh, I'm out. You know, it's not gonna work for you. So what do you do instead? Well, you gotta learn to lose before you can learn to win. For any skill you want to get better at, you know, I got conflicting opinions about Will Smith, but you know, he says something like, you know, the most important skill you can learn in life is how to fail. And I think there is some truth to that, you know? One of the most discouraging things is people who are like, you know, I can't do X. Oh, I couldn't do X. You know, I want to do X, but I just could never do it. Like, I'm not that kind of person. You hear it all the time. I hear it all the time, specifically with respect to programming. Oh, I don't have a programming brain. You think I have a programming brain? It's friggin' broken up there. There's many things right, and I'm very thankful for them. There's a lot of things wrong with what's going on up there as well. I was not really a good logical problem solver until I started programming. The other thing I hear about it all the time is with respect to art. People are like, oh, I wish I had the natural talent to be able to draw. Why am I in this? What do we care? And then the people who spend, you know, thousands of hours sketching are like, oh, screw me, I guess. I guess it's natural talent. It's not an adolescent spent doodling and drawing and all the art classes and et ceteras and et ceteras. You know, I do think there are... I also disagree with the mindset that, like, you can do anything you want to do. But I think, you know, if you want to do something, you got to at least try, you know? Very few people at least are just good at something like the first time they do it. You know, so I do think having a tolerance for failure is important. Where was I going with this? I don't remember. Probably a rant about Christmas music. Another AWAS, please. I squandered my other one. Dang. I did have an overarching point. That's why I'm glad it's the last video of the day. I gotta take a nap. Oh, I was talking about quote-unquote esports, you know? But the thing is, you know, you gotta choose, you gotta pick your battles. You know, if you want to get really good at chess, yeah, you gotta lose. If you want to get really good, if you want to get really good at anything, you gotta accept the fact that you're gonna end up. I mean, the more you lose, actually, like, the better off you are, believe it or not. You know, the faster you can figure out what you're doing wrong so you can start doing it right, the better off you're gonna be in the long run. But at the same time, if you're playing Call of Duty, you're not gonna make it a lifestyle, and you just want a style, I'd say live it up, my man. You're not dominating that lobby? Play out the game. Like, don't turn off your console. That's a little embarrassing. But then, honestly, yes. You know, say, good game, gentlemen, and then you dip into another lobby where you can be a superstar. It's all a power fantasy, regardless. Why not, you know, accept it? Okay, well, yes, yes, yes. It's going to put a little damper on Boss Rush, but all those were worthwhile. I don't think it's worth Shoop to Whoop, and it's certainly not worth Bomb Bag, but, you know, another thing dailies have done for me, and I understand for you, it's been like, you know, a couple of days since you've seen a daily. For me, it's been like, you know, a couple of hours, but I think dailies have had a positive impact for me by allowing me, forcing me, more or less, to fight Boss Rush in situations where I wouldn't otherwise want to. So my appetite for doing that is completely exhausted in runs like this, which is great because, you know, a lot of the runs that I lose are runs where I basically just end up screwing myself via sabotage. You know, it used to be different, by the way. There's no escape. I'm not a great Smash player, but I've learned from playing it on stream and playing it online. I am pretty good. I didn't realize. I mean, you should take these. I had told people I had played a lot. I haven't played a lot of the modern ones until this one. But I did play a lot of Brawl. A ton of 64. Very, very little Melee. You know why I'm half decent at Smash? I couldn't escape the loss. I had a housemate. I mean, we'll grab this. Reroll this. We got one more deal with the devil. I had a housemate who was demonstrably better than me at Smash. If we went 1-to-1, he'd win 2/3, I'd win 1/3. And then I had a housemate who I was demonstrably better than in, like, the same ratio. And then I had a couple of housemates who, like, if they won a 4-player game, like, 10% of the time, they would have been happy. So, you know, I got decent by losing a lot. That's how I got to at least some level. And I gotta say, this is the first time it's ever happened with a fighting game where I'm like, dude, I want to play this fighting game online. Most of the time I play a fighting game online, it's misery. At least after, like, the first week. This time, I'm having a great time. Even when I lose, it's like I'm losing to things that I respect. Except for people who play small characters, please. If you're not playing a character that's as heavy as, like, a celestial body, get out of my lobby. Ganondorf, Bowser, you're cool. Captain Falcon, I'll allow it. Donkey Kong, absolutely. King K. Rool, big-bellied son of a gun might frustrate me, but gosh darn it, I respect him. King DDD, yas, King Slay. When I boot into a game and somebody's like, go Squirtle, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. Ha, 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 ha. Square, square, ha, ha, ha. They're always jumping like a centimeter into the air and then kicking you for 1% damage. Then you hit him with one, you know, Donkey Kong side A. They get thrown into the stratosphere. You're like, is it worth it? Anyway, I'm mostly just joking. I don't know if there is a scumbag character in Smash Bros. Yet. I'm trying to think. Who do I hate playing against? Well, I used to... And this is now getting very... I didn't realize, by the way, until I tweeted a little bit about Smash, that there's... I don't know what forum these guys go to. I can guess. Like, grown men tweeting about Nintendo games. I've lost all respect for you. Dude, they're toys. They're toys. Some of them are toys with a story or with pathos. But they're toys at the end of the day. We're all... There's... You know what's more embarrassing is not playing Smash Bros. Is tweeting about Smash Bros. Because, you know, it's kind of my job. That's embarrassing. Taking the toy that seriously. But regardless. I used to think Richter was the scumbag character. Or Simon, you know? Because they just spam projectiles at you. And then they're also strong. And then I realized that once you get through that wall of projectiles and just never give them a chance to think... You're good. And that's really like, that's my Smash advice in general. It works in every game. If you're better than your opponent, make them think fast. Just overwhelm them with like suboptimal moves. Force them to, you know, play at your speed. It's also great chess advice. If you're better than your opponent, why don't you just, you know, draw with them 12 consecutive times and then win the world championship in a blitz game? No big deal. We've been hit, but it doesn't matter. Dude, this is a great run. I am stunned we're not going to become Guppy, but either way, very, very good one. Okay. 2020 is a gimme. After that, we'll take this and use it. We got Bookworm, best of all worlds. We could work towards Spun, and I will take Egghead. I think it's good. But I think instead I'm just going to reroll everything. Try to get something a little bit more interesting. Which, by the way, we failed miserably. I don't want any of these. Now, we don't need to be Guppy. Like, we got the Mulligan. I didn't even realize, like, the effect that Bookworm plus 2020 has, that is hilarious. This has got to go down. I mean, it's not an Eden run, so, I mean, I don't know. Is it worth less than our other ones? I don't know. It looks the same on the scoreboard to me. If we were going to count the Loss run for 1, we might as well count the Isaac run for 1. But either way... This is going to go down as one of the easier ones of the streak so far. No doubt about that. So thank you to you guys for watching the finality of the Christmas episodes. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, though, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And follow me on Twitch to be notified when I go live. It's all the time. Sometimes even with Isaac. Twitch.tv/Northernlion. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!